everyone, a very warm welcome to ladies and gentlemen. Today we are doing a presentation of our Roads to Success subject, and the topic would be the Cornell Method. And here are my teammates, Jiaqi, Su, and Michael, and me. And so for the first presentation, I'll present it to Jiaqi. Jiaqi, you
Thank you,
proceed.
Jeremy. Today, we are going to present a topic which is Cornell Method. So, what is Cornell Method? Is it a method of calculating or method of eating? No, it is actually a method of note-taking system. This is a very useful system as it has been adopted by most major law schools as their preferred note-taking system. This method is created by Dr. Waterport in 1949. Dr. Waterport is an education professor in Cornell University. He has written this method in his best-selling book, which is How to Study in College. This is how he looks like. And you might be wondering, why don't we just use our smartphone to capture the notes or just set the notes inside our laptop? It is because most of us will only end up with chatting with our friends by using smartphone or tempered by logging onto the Facebook. In the end, we will miss out a lot of important information that given by our lecturer during the lesson. However, by using Cornell Method, this incident won't be happen so easily. Besides, by using Cornell Method, it is easier for us to organize and review our notes. It can also increase our comprehension and critical thinking. And most importantly, by using Cornell Method, it can save our time to do our revision during the exam period, as the notes that taken by Cornell Method is really straightforward. And now I'm going to pass my time to Jeremy, and he will go through the topic.
Thank you, Jiaqi. So for my presentation, I will show you how to do the format of the Cornell Method. So we should proceed to the next slide. The Cornell note-taking method. Okay, so this Cornell note-taking method, it would separate into three parts. The biggest part will be a right-hand side column, would be the note-taking area. Then the second part, the left-hand side column, would be the review and self-test. The self-test would be like questions. And last but not least, we have the final part, which is the summary. And it's the smallest part. So we shall proceed. Taking down notes in class. In class, the lecturer will show notes in either hard copy or soft copy. Hard copy will be when lecturer gives out worksheets and notes that are printed out in paper, or soft copy, which should be placed on the screen of the lecture slide. Well, from there, from these two sources of information that we could get, we could write as many facts as we can from the slides into our right hand side column, and we should leave spaces so that we could fill in more information that is useful later. General ideas should be recorded but not illustrative ones. Those general ideas are like those facts that were presented in the slides. And most importantly, we must keep it simple. We must take notes during the lectures too. We shall proceed to the next slide. Include any information, most important information. Almost all the information that were taken from the lecture slide should be put into this right hand side column. While listening to a lecture, you should always put on this right hand side column. This is the biggest column, so the most number of notes can be placed here, as shown in the diagram at the right hand side column. Next, have you ever been wondering what should we write on the left hand side column of the Cornell note-taking method? The left hand side column would be those questions and potential questions that could further understand those notes that you have been taking. And you could ask what type of questions that were placed here. Most of the questions would be the questions that are potential to come out in the examinations, and those that appears, and you should put it on the left hand side so you could answer and you could gain more knowledge upon the notes that you have been taking in. Next, summary. Summary would be at the last final column of the note taking. How to summarize it? The summary we could underline from those that were from the note taking method. At the right hand column, we could underline the most important information and try to summarize it. Summarizing it, we should keep as few words as possible so it won't get that complicated while doing the summary. Why should we do the summary? It helps us to further clarify and understand what information that have been recorded, and the summary should be here. And now I'm proceeding and giving the next presentation to my teammate Michael. Michael.
Thank you. Now I'm going to show you an example of how to use the Cornell method. Let's start with something familiar, like maths, specifically the factorization of quadratic equations. On the left side, the keyword column, as it were, you can put down the questions, the formulas, or any other key elements that you think might be important. On the right column, you can then write down the longer details, like the whole calculation and the charts, which will definitely take up a lot more space. After class, you then need to write down the summary at the bottom, so as to confirm that you understand what exactly you have actually learned in class. If this seems messy to you, then trying to write all of this in class while trying to listen to the lecture, yours will probably come out uglier. And that's okay. Your notes aren't supposed to appear detailed or clean like an essay, or packed with tons of examples like a textbook. It's supposed to be notes, not homework that you're supposed to pass on to anyone else. So long as you understand it, even if other people can't, that's more than enough.